Hi everybody, this is Kathy from Kathy and Rain Country. This is take two because last video I tried to film myself unboxing eggs that I had ordered online, and I had all sorts of problems with my tripod. My camera slipped off the tripod and I was actually filming the floor as opposed to the eggs and everything else, so let's try it again. I just received today some eggs from Massachusetts. I ordered some Serama eggs, which are all the rage now. They're supposedly the smallest chickens in the world, and they're pretty expensive. They're the most expensive hatching eggs I've ever ordered, and I hope that they work out all right. I ordered 18 of them, and they're NPIP certified. And if you want more information on the National Poultry Improvement Program, then you can look it up online. They test for poultry diseases. So you know if your the eggs that you order are NPIP certified, or if your breeder is NPIP certified, that it's pretty good chance that you will end up hatching out chicks that are less likely to have common diseases, poultry diseases like avian flu and certain strains of typhoid. I'm not sure if they test for Marek's disease, which is really prevalent here in the Pacific Northwest, or not. They test for different diseases depending on what state the breeder is located. And I did not look up the Massachusetts site, but I did look at the paperwork, and they did test for a certain strain of typhoid, but not avian flu. And the seller included a copy of the paperwork that had both his name and my name and his NPIP number. So gives you a little bit more confidence when you're spending so much money on your hatching eggs that they're pretty likely to be disease-free. Anyway, I wanted to stress how important it is to use the proper tools to open up the box, your shipping box. I used a box cutter, and I've seen people unboxing eggs using all sorts of things like steak knives and other things that you probably shouldn't be using. But you want to handle the eggs really gently and not jostle them around when you're taking them out of the packing. You don't want to spin the eggs. Just, you know, they're embryos, so the indications on the outside of the box are for the postal service, but also for you, because you want to make sure that you're handling them really carefully, and you want to let them settle for at least 24 hours after you've unboxed them before putting them in the incubator, so that the air sacs can settle to the top, and when the chick hatches, they have as much airspace as possible for breathing room, and you know how important that is. Anyway, when you let the eggs settle, the air sacs, which can become separated, there's all kinds of things that can happen, but when you let them settle, they heal and come to the top of the egg. You want to put the pointy side of the egg down when you're setting them or storing them, waiting for the incubator. And when you're getting your incubator ready, you want to make sure that it's been running for several days, and mine's been running for several days, and it's at the right temperature. It should be like about 98.5 to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine is right about 98.5 to 99 degrees. It kind of fluctuates a little bit. And your humidity, depending on where you are and what your humidity rate is, with your current climate, it should be about 50 to 55. Some people, like with different types of eggs, they recommend different humidity rates. My incubator is about 55 right now, relative humidity. So once I let these eggs settle for a while, or 24 hours, and with quail eggs, I think you can wait a little bit less time. I let them go for about 12 hours and before putting them in the incubator. But I just wanted to show you that this seller's been really careful about marking the outside of the box, about what's inside the box, to be careful not to x-ray the box, because that can kill the embryos. The post office has even put a little flyer on the outside of the box stating that there's live animals. There's a little picture of a fish, a duckling, and a little chick. But all summer long, I did not have good luck with shipped eggs, because I think it had something to do with the hot summer, the heat. As you know, the trucks that the Postal Service uses are not air conditioned, and a lot of times when I received the eggs, the box was hot. So if the eggs get up to a certain temperature, that the incubation process can start, and if the temperature is not consistent, your hatch rate can really be affected, and sometimes you will not hatch out anything. I've had entire shipments of eggs where I have not hatched a single chick. And also, I noticed that the temperature inside my incubator was not consistent when I kept the incubator inside my RV, which is not well insulated, and it got really hot in there, and I had fans going and windows open, and I was checking it all the time. Still, the temperature would go up to like 102 degrees and 104 degrees, and at one point I saw it go up to 106 degrees, and I knew that my chicks were not going to hatch. So I pretty much just gave up on a couple of batches. But I did have good luck hatching quail eggs, and I think quail eggs are a lot easier to hatch than chicken eggs. I tried to hatch ducklings, and I didn't have any luck with that either. And a couple of turkey eggs. Actually, when I received the turkey eggs, they were really dirty, and there was poop all over them. And I tried to gently brush and scrub the poop off the eggs, but I don't think I was very successful. And if bacteria is in your incubator, then that will make your chicks sick, of course, and a lot of times your chicks will not hatch at all if there's certain types of bacteria present. So anyway, I will be back and show you what's inside of this box, and I'm going to unwrap these eggs and get them settled. Okay, here I am again. Just wanted to continue unboxing these eggs. As you can see, the seller used an egg carton that he's repurposed here, which is a good idea. Keep them nice and cushioned, and he's individually wrapped each egg in paper towel. I prefer that the seller wraps each egg in something like paper towel or even toilet paper, rather than using bubble wrap to individually wrap the eggs, because I think it's better for them to breathe, because they're living things and they need oxygen. So if you're going to wrap them with bubble wrap, I really don't think that's a good idea. I'm not sure, if how much oxygen they can get inside of a tightly bubble wrapped package. So anyway, he's been very good about individually wrapping each egg with paper towel, and it's in a nice paper egg carton. The outside was cushioned with one sheet of bubble wrap, and he's repurposed plastic shopping bags, which is a good idea to repurpose these things. They're not very good for the environment, so you might as well reuse them rather than wasting a bunch of bubble wrap that you can be using to wrap your Christmas gifts or what have you. Anyway, I just thought it was a good idea. But it looks like he's done a really good job, and I don't notice any breakage. I have not unwrapped each one of these individually yet, and it's kind of hard to do this with one hand. And when you're unwrapping, you don't want to spin the eggs out of their wrapping. You want as little movement as possible before you put them in the incubator. And you want to let them set I let them set for at least 24 hours before I put them in the incubator. With quail eggs, I think you can wait maybe half as much time, like 12 hours. But with chicken eggs, where they have a fairly large egg sac, or not egg sac, air sac, you want to make sure that it's settled and that it rises to the top of the egg. That you want to set them pointy end down so that the air sac rises to the top of the egg, and when the chick hatches, it has that airspace to breathe, when it's doing all the work of trying to get out of the egg or trying to chip its way out. So anyway, as I was telling you before, the seller included paperwork, NPIP paperwork. It was taped to the outside of the box. And if you want to find more information about the NPIP program, just go ahead and Google it. I found it at agr/wa.gov, which is the NPIP site for the state of Washington. But if you just type in NPIP, in Google or whatever browser you're using, you can find a lot of information about the program and what diseases they're testing for. You can vaccinate your own chicks for Marek's disease, but I don't think they recommend it for bantam-size chicks. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because they're so small that the medication is just too much for them. I don't know why. I'll have to do more research on that. But I won't be vaccinating these chicks once they're hatched for the Marek's disease because they are Serama and therefore bantam-sized chicks. So anyway, I'll be back in a few to film a little bit more about incubating hatching eggs. See you later. Okay, I just wanted to continue this video about unboxing the hatching eggs, the Serama eggs. When I handle the eggs, I wear vinyl gloves, and these are the type of vinyl gloves that I use. I get them at Walmart. They're about $8 for 100 of them, and they protect the eggs from oil that can be in your hands or your fingertips. When you're handling the eggs, you want to make sure that you eliminate as much of that as possible, because that will affect your hatch rate. So you want to do everything you can to make sure you hatch as many chicks as possible, considering these eggs are pretty expensive. The Serama eggs are more expensive than any other eggs I've ordered online, and I'm beginning to think that ordering online is really not the way to go, because you risk them being damaged or, x-rayed or whatever when they're being shipped, and that can also affect your hatch rate. So it's probably better to get, if you're going to get your eggs, get them from someone you know, or someone on Craigslist where you can go and pick for a local pickup, so you don't have to worry about them being shipped. Anyway, I was going to show you the paperwork, the NPIP paperwork. I folded it over so you can't see the addresses of whoever, the person's address, to protect his privacy. But anyway, it shows what type of eggs they are and what diseases they've been tested for. So apparently they've been tested for a certain strain of typhoid, and they've checked that off in this area. And that's the only disease that they've been tested for. Their flock on the other side, the breeder's flock, and I guess they have to have, in the state of Washington, they have to have a minimum of 30 birds. I don't know what it's like or what the requirements are for other states, but the breeding flock is tested, and then they certify them, and I guess they get a number, so when they sell eggs, they can sell them as NPIP certified. So it's kind of a little bit of reassurance for the buyer that your chicks, when they hatch, will be as disease-free as possible. Of course, there's, other diseases that they can pick up in the environment, like Marek's disease, which is rampant in the Pacific Northwest especially. So anyway, I'm going to put these eggs, I've already unwrapped them, I'm going to let them settle for 24 hours before putting them in my incubator that I already have running. It's been running for several days just to make sure that the temperature is stable and the humidity. I've already added the water and everything, and the temperature is 98.5 to 99. It kind of fluctuates between those two readings. And the humidity is about 55% right now. Of course, when you add the eggs, the temperature will usually go down, because, you got to realize that the eggs are being added, and they're going to make the temperature go down. And probably the humidity is either going to go up and down depending on what the weather's like, or, if your eggs are room temperature, or, whatever humidity that they were stored at. So you want to keep them in a cool, dry place for 24 hours, and then put them in your incubator and just kind of hope for the best. I've heard that the Serama eggs take a little bit less time to incubate. Like, usually chicken eggs take about 21 days, and the Serama eggs only take 20 days. I haven't hatched any Seramas yet, so I haven't experienced that, but I have noticed that the bantam chicks usually will hatch a little bit sooner, like a day sooner than the normal size chicks. Okay,